Mesothelioma is a type of cancer that develops from the thin layer of tissue that covers many of the internal organs, known as the mesothelium. 10. The area most commonly affected is the lining of the lungs and chest wall. 1-3. Less commonly the lining of the abdomen, and rarely the sac surrounding the heart. 11. Or the sac surrounding the testis may be affected. 1-12. Signs and symptoms of mesothelioma may include shortness of breath due to fluid around the lung, a swollen abdomen, chest wall pain, cough, feeling tired, and weight loss. These symptoms typically come on slowly. 2. More than 80% of mesothelioma cases are caused by exposure to asbestos. 3. The greater the exposure, the greater the risk. 3. As of 2013, about 125 million people worldwide have been exposed to asbestos at work. 13. High rates of disease occur in people who mine asbestos, produce products from asbestos, work with asbestos products, live with asbestos workers, or work in buildings containing asbestos. 3. Asbestos exposure and the onset of cancer are generally separated by about 40 years. 3. Washing the clothing of someone who worked with asbestos also increases the risk. 13. Other risk factors include genetics and infection with the simian virus 40. 3. The diagnosis may be suspected based on chest X-ray and CT scan findings and is confirmed by either examining fluid produced by the cancer or by a tissue biopsy of the cancer. 2. Prevention focuses on reducing exposure to asbestos. 5. Treatment often includes surgery, radiation therapy, and chenotherapy. 6. A procedure known as pleurodesis, which involves using substances such as talc to scar together the pleura, may be used to prevent more fluid from building up around the lungs. 6. Chemotherapy often includes the medications cisplatin and pemetrexed. 2. The percentage of people that survive 5 years following diagnosis is on average 8% in the United States. 7. In 2015, about 60,800 people had mesothelioma and 32,000 died from the disease. 8-9. Rates of mesothelioma vary in different areas of the world. 3. Rates are higher in Australia, the United Kingdom, and lower in Japan. 3. It occurs in about 3,000 people per year in the United States. 14. It occurs more often in males than females. 3. Rates of disease have increased since the 1950s. 3. Diagnosis typically occurs after the age of 65, and most deaths occur around 70 years old. 3. The disease was rare before the commercial use of asbestos. 3. Signs and symptoms. Lungs. Symptoms or signs of mesothelioma may not appear until 20 to 50 years or more after exposure to asbestos. Shortness of breath, cough, and pain in the chest due to an accumulation of fluid in the pleural space, pleural effusion, are often symptoms of pleural mesothelioma. 15. Mesothelioma that affects the pleura can cause these signs and symptoms. 15. Chest wall pain, pleural effusion or fluid surrounding the lung, shortness of breath, which could be due to a collapsed lung or the pleural effusion, fatigue or anemia, wheezing, hoarseness, or a cough, blood in the sputum, fluid, coughed up, hemoptysis. In severe cases, the person may have many tumor masses. The individual may develop a pneumothorax or collapse of the lung. The disease may metastasize or spread to other parts of the body. Sedation needed. Abdomen. The most common symptoms of peritoneal mesothelioma are abdominal swelling and pain due to ascites, a buildup of fluid in the abdominal cavity. Other features may include weight loss, fever, night sweats, poor appetite, vomiting, constipation, and umbilical hernia. 16. If the cancer has spread beyond the mesothelium to other parts of the body, symptoms may include pain, trouble swallowing, or swelling of the neck or face. These symptoms may be caused by mesothelioma or by other, less serious conditions. Citation needed. Tumors that affect the abdominal cavity often do not cause symptoms until they are at a late stage. Symptoms include citation needed, abdominal pain, ascites or an abnormal buildup of fluid in the abdomen, a mass in the abdomen, problems with bowel function, weight loss, heart. Pericardial mesothelioma is not well characterized, but observed cases have included cardiac symptoms, specifically constrictive pericarditis, heart failure, pulmonary embolism, and cardiac tamponade. They have also included nonspecific symptoms, including substernal chest pain, orthopnea, shortness of breath when lying flat, and cough. These symptoms are caused by the tumor encasing or infiltrating the heart. 11. End stage. In severe cases of the disease, the following signs and symptoms may be present. 8. Blood clots in the veins, which may cause thrombophlebitis. Disseminated intravascular coagulation, a disorder causing severe bleeding in many body organs. Jaundice, or yellowing of the eyes and skin. Low blood sugar, pleural effusion. Pulmonary embolism, or blood clots in the arteries of the lungs, severe ascites. Mesothelioma law refers to the legal framework surrounding cases related to mesothelioma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer that primarily affects the lining of the lungs, abdomen, or heart. Mesothelioma is often linked to exposure to asbestos, a group of naturally occurring minerals that were widely used in various industries for their fire-resistant and insulating properties. The legal aspects of mesothelioma are primarily concerned with seeking compensation for individuals who have been diagnosed with the disease due to asbestos exposure, as well as holding responsible parties accountable for their negligence in exposing people to asbestos. Here are some key components of mesothelioma law. Personal injury claims. Individuals who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma due to asbestos exposure may file personal injury claims against companies or entities responsible for their exposure. These claims aim to seek compensation for medical expenses, pain and suffering, lost wages, and other damages caused by the illness. Wrongful death claims. In cases where a person diagnosed with mesothelioma passes away, their surviving family members, such as spouses, children, or other dependents, may file wrongful death claims to seek compensation for their losses and the impact of their loved one's death. Product liability lawsuits. Many mesothelioma cases involve products or materials that contained asbestos. Victims may file product liability lawsuits against manufacturers, distributors, and other entities responsible for producing or distributing asbestos-containing products. Statute of limitations. Each jurisdiction has specific time limits within which mesothelioma claims must be filed. These time limits, known as the statute of limitations, vary by location and depend on factors such as when the asbestos exposure occurred and when the diagnosis was made. Class action lawsuits. In certain situations, a group of people who have been affected by the same asbestos exposure may join together to file a class action lawsuit. This allows them to collectively seek compensation and streamline legal proceedings. Asbestos trust funds. Some companies that were heavily involved in asbestos production have filed for bankruptcy due to the numerous legal claims against them. As a result, they were required to establish asbestos trust funds to provide compensation to victims while allowing the companies to continue operating. Legal representation. Due to the complexity of mesothelioma cases and the involvement of various legal aspects, individuals diagnosed with mesothelioma often seek legal representation from specialized attorneys who have experience in handling asbestos-related cases. It's important to note that mesothelioma law can vary by jurisdiction, and the legal process can be intricate. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, it's recommended to consult with an experienced attorney who can provide guidance on your specific situation and legal options.